Hi, I'm Steve Howard with WhitesElectronics. White's multi-purpose MXT is as comfortable hunting for coins and jewelry in parks and playgrounds as it is relic hunting in ghost towns or battle sites, or prospecting for gold in the highly mineralized ground where most gold nuggets are found. Follow along as we break the MXT operation down into these three very different types of searching conditions.
Hi, I'm Randy Smith with Treasure Electronics. I want to talk to you a little bit about coin hunting with the White's new MXT. The MXT operates at 14 kilohertz. That's an ideal frequency for the coin hunter. It offers very quick target response and very quick target recovery. What that means is you can go into a trashy area and go across a piece of trash, reject it, and be ready to pick up a coin right next to it. And that allows you to find a lot more coins in a junky area. The MXT has a full target ID response on the screen. It tells you what it is. It tells you how deep it is. It has a very, very good discriminator. It has automatic ground balance with automatic tracking. This allows you to eliminate ground mineralization quickly, and the detector is calm, steady, and easy to use. Why don't I just go ahead and explain some of the controls on the MXT, what they're for, and how you would use them. The first switch we're going to talk about is the mode switch. You've got three choices there: coins and jewelry, relic hunting, or prospecting. For this section of the video, we're talking about coin hunting. So we're going to flip the trigger to the coin mode. The next control is your gain control. What that does for you is it allows you to adjust the sensitivity or the depth, how deep the detector goes. Ideally, you'll set the gain control all the way up as far as you can until the detector becomes a little bit erratic or unstable. You'll hear it starting to chirp. Then you just back it off a little bit, and that'll be as most sensitivity you can use for that particular area. The farther you turn it clockwise again, the more sensitivity you're turning on, so the deeper you're going to go. The other control is the dual control, which in the coin hunting program is your discriminator. Now in the prospecting program, this same control operates the self-adjusting threshold, or SAT speed. But for coin hunting, it's going to be your discriminator. So the farther you turn your discriminator control clockwise, the more trash you're rejecting. If you turn it all the way down to minimum, at 0, you're going to pick up iron, tin foil, aluminum pull tabs, all your coins, your jewelry, pretty much any piece of metal in the ground you're going to pick up. Now as you turn that control clockwise, you're starting to introduce discrimination. The first thing that's going to go away is iron. You'll hear it start to make a chirping or clicking sound on iron. When that happens, then you know that the discriminator is telling you that that's iron. It's not a good solid beep. It's a cut short sound, so therefore it's something being discriminated against. If we keep on turning the control up to around 3 or so, we start to eliminate tin foil. Keep going. We come to about 6 or 7. Now we're in the pull tab range, and we're starting to reject your aluminum pull tabs. Now anytime we go that high with our discriminator to reject pull tabs, we've lost the nickels and we've lost some gold rings. And you can keep on going all the way to 7 or 8 and even eliminate your aluminum twist-off screw caps and zinc pennies, your modern zinc pennies. Now keep in mind, when you go that high, you're eliminating a lot of metal. You've lost Indian head pennies, you've lost nearly all your rings except all your gold rings. You may still get a silver ring, so it's probably not recommended that you go that high unless it's just extremely trashy. So generally I like to run it back on about the preset position, which is just to the right of nickel. And that's a good place to run it. That way you get all your gold rings and your nickels. If there's too many pull tabs, then go ahead and turn it up a little bit. The fourth control is your threshold control. All that does is set the slight hum you hear while you're hunting. I like to run my detector where I just barely hear that hum. Now, some people like to run their detector in what they call a silent search operation. In other words, you turn the threshold just down to where you cannot hear the threshold at all. It's silent. Don't go too far with that and turn it all the way down to minimum, because then you may lose some sensitivity. So turn it just to the edge of threshold, and then if you don't want threshold, just turn it a little bit down from there. The other control is your track toggle switch, your ground balance control. When you put it in all the way down to the ground position, then it's going to track to the ground. If the ground minimalization changes, this detector will adjust to it automatically, and it does it very, very quickly. If you turn it to the no track position in the center, then it will not track any further. It will hold the last setting where you had it balanced at. And then if you happen to go to a saltwater beach with the MXT, you can flip it all the way up to the salt position, and it will track all the way up into the salt range, and so that you're not getting false signals and stuff off of the salt, because salt in itself is somewhat conductive and it can affect the operation of a metal detector. So the MXT will track saltwater out and be stable and quiet on saltwater beaches. The other control is your pinpoint trigger, what we call a pinpoint trigger. In the center position, that's where you want it for searching in the primary mode. And if you find a target and you decide you want to dig it up, then you squeeze the trigger, squeeze and hold it, and then X the target slowly, and then it will show the depth of the object on the screen. It will also give you the loudest, highest pitched sound when you're directly over the target. Then you're ready to dig your target. Now, the MXT has something new that Whites hasn't offered before, which is in the lock forward position on this trigger, forward towards the search goal, the detector goes into what they call an alternate search mode. And on this particular coin program, that search mode, when locked forward, it notches out the pull tab, but allows you to still pick up the nickel. You can't do that in the center position, because when you turn your discriminator all the way up to reject the pull tab, you've lost the nickel. So you flip the trigger forward, you're in the alternate mode, you set your discriminator just to where it barely picks up nickels. You might throw a nickel down on the ground and just turn your control up, your discriminator control up until it quits picking the nickel, and then back it back a little bit to where it just barely picks the nickel up. Then when you've got your trigger forward, you're going to reject the pull tab and you're still going to pick up the nickel. Of course, you get all of your other US coins as well, your pennies, dimes, quarters, and dollars. That's the primary controls on the MXT. It's an excellent detector. It offers very, very good depth. It's very sensitive to nickels and gold. So you can pick up nickels at pretty extreme depths as well as gold rings. That's the basic controls. Now I want to show you a little bit on how you actually search with the MXT for coin hunting. I'd like to talk a little bit about the information that shows up on the display or the screen of the MXT. I've got a coin buried right here. I'm going to let you look over my shoulder and you're going to see what actually comes up on the screen. Okay, here I've got a quarter buried. The first thing I want you to notice is the audio response of that coin. Notice how it's solid and consistent. That's what you want to hear when you're coin hunting. That's something that the discriminator is accepting. Now, the second thing we're going to notice is what's coming up on the screen. It says VDI equals 83. VDI stands for Visual Discriminator Indicator, and that's all your numbers here in blue. The higher you go up the scale of conductivity, the higher that number is going to be. Quarters come in between 83 and 88. Halves are up 89 to 90. And then dollars on up from there. Your lower conductive items like nickels and rings will be lower numbers. Nickels should be somewhere in around 20, 21, 22. So we've got a smooth response there. We got a VDI number of 84. And it's telling us 25 cents. You'll also notice that there's a little block here that coincides with the labels down here on the bottom. I generally just watch the 25 cents icon so that I know about what the target should be. Notice that I'm continually moving back and forth across the target, because if you stop, it stops. So you've got to keep that motion going in order to generate a signal. Now notice you've got a little block over here on the LCD screen. That block corresponds with the labeling here on the decal. The farther the block goes over, the more likelihood is being into the coin range. A nickel would show up with a block about right in here, and then iron would make a block down on this side. Also, those blocks may vary. If they're shorter, then they may not be quite so sure that that's really what it says it is. And if they're very, very short or maybe not filled